Morning.
Good day to you, sir. Hey, wait a minute, what the hell? Getting real tired of you ducking me, man. Yeah?
Oh my God.
Yeah, getting really tired.
It's all crashing down. The gaming industry is beginning to go bankrupt, or at least the mainstream gaming industry, as gamers reject woke and woke ideologies. It's spilling over into the movie and film industries as gamers and people in general are like, men in general are like, we don't want this garbage. We're not going to pay for it. They told us if you don't like it, don't buy it. And that's exactly what's happening and now costing these companies tens of billions of dollars. Today's video comes from Dark. Watch it end of the video to fully understand the implications of this, how this is spilling over into other industries, and what this is going to mean for gamers, people who enjoy media, and for men in general, as men are now saying, you know what, we're not going to take it anymore. Now let's just go ahead and jump right into the video.
The gaming industry is in a state of disaster. There are so many developers out there who attack the very people they need to swipe their credit cards. And of course, there are so many higher ups at companies who are completely out of touch with what audiences actually want. But now a Baldur's Gate 3 developer is blasting Ubisoft's sales strategy, saying if gamers should get used to not owning their games, then developers must get used to not having jobs. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, it's been a saying in the gaming industry for a while now, if buying a game means you don't really own it, then pirating a game means you're not really stealing it. I understand that, yes, we need developers to make money so that we can continue to get games, but the problem is that it's so hard to support a lot of the development studios right now because they do not care about what gamers actually want. I totally and completely get that devs need to be passionate about their work and they need to love their work to a certain extent, but they're not creating games for themselves, they're creating games for gamers, and it's like they're completely disregarding what we are saying and what we want in our titles and the way that the industry should go in our opinions, and this individual completely gets that. So Michael DUCE, the director of publishing for Baldur's Gate 3 and its developer Larian Studios, blasted Ubisoft in the wake of a number of blunders, including the Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which is rumored to have seen its developer team disbanded after not meeting sales expectations.
So here you have Baldur's Gate, one of the most successful IPs ever made alongside Dragon Age. Dragon Age has gone woke and is dying off right now. And all of these other large projects that people were once loved, they're also going woke. And they're idiots who are like, well, it's because these companies now have to pander. They have to do these things. The banks are telling them that if they don't make these woke games, then they won't give them money to cover their expenses. So, for example, we won't even give you money to cover your day-to-day operations. You won't be able to survive if you don't make these woke titles. So this is what someone said, that the banks are telling them that if they don't make woke games, then they won't get that money and they won't be able to survive, at least for a little while. I want to tell you right now, obviously, while there is some influence going on in Western society, I don't think that the people who are financing some of these things, I mean, I'll put it this way. I don't think that the banks are in the business of telling people to make woke games so that they can lose money. That doesn't make any damn sense. Why would you tell someone to do something that's going to cost you tons of money? The banks are influencing the kinds of games that people are making. That's a load of crap. Obviously, right now, the woke mind virus has infected these companies, just like it's infected society. That's the best explanation for what's happening. Look at idiots like Charles Barkley, who are making threats saying that any black person who votes for Donald Trump, he's going to put his hands on him. He did an interview with Gayle King, and he said to Gayle, any black person that votes for Trump, or says they're going to vote for Trump, he's going to put hands on them. And Gail even told him to stop. And she said, "You're just joking." And he goes, "I'm not joking." She said, "Stop." He would not stop. She then said, "You're going to go to jail." He then said he doesn't care. And I was watching a video by this guy named MAGA Hulk. You know, a guy named MAGA Hulk. He's a black, big ex-military guy, big black guy. And he said something very interesting. And I didn't even pick up on it. He said that what Charles Barkley did right there was he was promoting black on black violence. And I was like, holy cow. Holy cow. Like, guys, it is a mind virus. It's a mind virus. These people are so delusional and deranged that they will commit any crime and they think that they can just get away with it because the state has their back. They think that they can put out any type of garbage and that it doesn't matter because, you know, justice. They're losing tons of money. These companies are shutting down. Oh, they had no choice. They have plenty of choices. It is a virus that has infected the minds of people. It is it's the woke mind virus. It's easily identified. All right? It's a sick thing and it's something that the boomers have inflicted upon society with their kindness garbage. To be kind. Where do you think all that kindness crap came from? Be kind. You're going to go to hell if you don't love everyone. Even your enemies, especially your enemies. But they're hurting me. Doesn't matter. You have to pray for them. This is the garbage that we have in society. That's where it started. That's why so many people have abandoned religion and then thereby they turn their backs and they walk away from God because they believe that God is equivalent to religion. So if you do not obey religion, then you are not obeying God. Why would you want to listen to someone like that who tells you to suffer for your enemies? What does that sound like? Sacrifice yourself. Where does that come from? The church. Where does that come from? The state. Where does that come from? Women. Where does that come from? Simps. Let's put it all together. The church is just, all right, modern religion, the modern church is just another form of the state. Okay? Women operate as agents of the state. Not all are agents of the state, but all may operate as agents of the state. Simps are agents of the state. What does the state want you to do? To sacrifice yourself. What do women who operate as agents of the state want you to do? To sacrifice yourself. What do simps, okay, and all simps are agents of the state. What do simps want you to do? To sacrifice yourself as a man. For what? For society. You are sacrificing yourself for women. You are sacrificing yourself for simps. You are basically fighting to give simps a better life. Women operate as agents of the state, while men in modern society are prisoners of the state. Okay? This is how society exists. That's why you have the simps out here going furious. That's why the simps are coming after me and threatening me, saying that I need to show myself and how many women am I getting and making threats and putting up all kinds of garbage, saying don't be like angry guy. You know, there's a lot of good women out there. Go to the gym, work out, get your money up and get back out there and find yourself a woman. Guys, in Western society with everything happening, these simps are telling you to go out there and go and start serving society, and serve women. Don't try to understand women. Find a woman and ask, how much more can you do for her? What can I do for her? How much more can I sacrifice for her? Because that is your legacy. A man's legacy is a legacy of sacrifice. This is what they are telling men and boys. If you're a single man, then you are sinning. This is what they say. Guys, these people, I told you, they are enemies. The simp is the enemy. The simp is a wicked, evil creature. The simp has the Jezebel spirit within it. And there are some of you fools. There are some of you fools that want to go and save them. And they will bring you down. And then when you learn it the hard way, then you come like, yes, Angry, you were right. Yes, Angry Sama, you were right. I have so many simps in the comments, all right? Or Sims who are trying to reform now. Angry Sama, angry Sama, angry Sama. Because I told them, get the hell out of here. And I put them on blast. That's why they're coming after me. When I was talking about women, they didn't care. The moment that I start talking about them, they go ballistic. They're scared because now you're putting the focus on them. These people, they were never your friends. They were never on your side. These traitors were always against you. They're like, how can we betray you if we were never even on your side? They were never rooting for you. They didn't, to be fair, they didn't betray men or masculinity. They were never on our side. They never supported men or masculinity. They were basically like wolves in the hen house. We didn't know the demons that were amongst us. They are filled with the Jezebel spirit. These are evil, wicked entities that walk amongst us and mean us no good. The simp is of the evil one. The simp knows what it's doing. All men were once simps, but men who refuse to change in the face of facts and evidence have made a conscious choice and decision to remain that way. That is how they survive, and they operate as agents of the state. They demoralize men, and in many of them operate to reallocate wealth and resources from men to the state, and they prosper and benefit from that. What do they get? They get access to women. They get access to resources. They get special privileges. They can say and basically do things that the average man cannot. They can speak to a woman in certain ways socially and not be condemned for it because they are operating as agents of the state. That's how sick these animals are. Think about this very carefully. You had a simp in Canada some years ago who put hands on a woman who was protesting against, control alt deletions of babies. And he put hands on her. The worst thing that happened to him was he lost his job. That's it. Bro didn't even get arrested. If you look at the Sims blasting women on the left, nothing happens to them. If people on the right did this, if men on the right did this to women on the left, they would be in jail. Think about that very carefully. Sims get special privileges. This is how these good-for-nothing survive. They enjoy being sniveling. They enjoy doing these things. If a war breaks out, they're not fighting. The reason why they want men back on the plantation is so that men will sacrifice themselves and men will continue to provide, and they themselves can thereby benefit from it. Sims are wicked and evil creatures. They are detestable creatures. Someone said, don't even call them human, because they are bastards like that.
I did another video on this. It will be linked down below, but yeah, I mean, I can completely understand why Prince of Persia: The Last Crown was a failure. People have, been waiting for the Sands of Time remake that's been delayed. I don't even think it's ever going to come out at this point. The confidence in Ubisoft is at an all-time low because of all of their flops for the year, and Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown released only a few days before one of the largest video game releases of 2024, Palworld. It got absolutely decimated because of that game, and any title that released around Palworld's launch did as well. It wasn't just Prince of Persia, but I get that Ubisoft right now is trying their very best to save as much money as possible, and it is disappointing because there were people who liked this game, but on the flip side, when you are, not giving us the content we want out of a franchise of this caliber, I can't say I particularly feel bad that Ubisoft lost money. It continues on talking about while Ubisoft management has made the decision to move on from the game shortly after it was released, the host claimed that some members of the core development team fought for 2 DLCs in an attempt to change the minds of management, but it seems that Ubisoft was pretty unconvinced on the Lost Crown getting DLC or extra content, and in reaction to the coverage of the team allegedly being disbanded by PC Gamer, DUCE shared shared his opinion on X, saying the last notable game on their platform was arguably Far Cry 6 in 2021. The Crew, Mirage, and Avatar came in 2023 and didn't perform, so you can assume subscriptions were at a lull when Prince of Persia released by 2024, which means people wouldn't be launching their store all too much. If it had released on Steam, not only would it have been a market success, but there would likely be a sequel because the teams are so strong. It's a broken strategy. The hardest thing is to make an 85+ hour game. It is much, much easier to release one. It just shouldn't be done as it was, which I completely agree with. Prince of Persia was received pretty positively by the people who played it, but it got absolutely decimated because of its launch window. Of course, Ubisoft has a track record of not releasing really great games in really great states, like Avatar was the last one before Prince of Persia, so confidence was not there. And next, he actually torched Ubisoft and specifically the company's director of subscriptions for his comments back in January, where he said that gamers need to get comfortable with not owning games. If the statement gamers should get used to not owning their games is true because of a specific release strategy, sub above sales, then the statement developers must get used to not having jobs if they make a critically acclaimed game, platform strategy above title sales, is also true, and that just isn't sensible even from a business perspective. I mean, he is sitting here spitting facts.
So let me make it very, very clear. No one in their right mind is going to spend $70 for something they don't own. Okay? Some of you guys don't like my Beat headphones, but guess what? I own these headphones, and until they add a subscription plan to them, these belong to me. They're mine. I own my cell phone. I own my MacBook Pro. I own the software. I'm going to be picking up a copy of Final Cut Pro soon. You pay for it one time, and then you own it. Where all of these companies are going right now is you will own nothing. Where the gaming industry is going right now is you will own nothing. You will spend hundreds, thousands of dollars a year on games, and you will own nothing. You can spend $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 on games. You will own nothing. How stupid is this? It's basically just giving away money for what amounts to rentals that can be taken back from you at any given moment. Only a fool would agree to this. Only a simp would agree to this, guys. The Sims want you to own nothing. The Sims are despicable. The Sims do not like humanity. All they care about is indulgence. You have to be consciously aware of it. That's why I'm having a damn good time right now with GOG Galaxy. I absolutely love GOG. I've picked up so many great games. I've gone back to Jade Empire. I picked up this game called Deliverance. This game is $29.99 right now. It was a big hit back in 2018. Evidently, the second one is coming out. It's 57.8 gigabytes. This is a massive game. You can put over 100 hours into it. I got this game for I think it was less than $9, maybe $5 on GOG. And I get the installer for the game. So for anyone saying that you cannot own your games, that's total BS. Baldur's Gate, right? Baldur's Gate. Make sure I said it. Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3. It is a brand new game that just came out, and it's on GOG right now. It came out August 3rd, 2023. It's a new game. It's on GOG right now for $60. And when you buy this on GOG, unlike Steam, you own the damn game. You can download the installer, and you can send it to your friends if you choose to. You can store it on Google Drive. You can do whatever the hell you want to with it. And no one can take it away from you. And this is wonderful. And this is a business model. They were able to do this and make money. What does that tell you? These companies, it's remaster after remaster after remaster that no one asked for. I mean, it's so bad right now that they are literally remastering games that just came out in the last console generation. We have a remaster for games that, now the games that they're remastering look worse than the games that they're remastering. So, for example, the original version that came out on PS4 looks way better than the version that they've made, and a lot of the reason why is because the developers who made that game are gone, and the people who are remastering it are a bunch of woke-tivists who don't know how to program, who don't know how to code, and don't understand or have any invested interest in the title other than remaking it in Unreal, upgrading it to the latest Unreal Engine, adding shadow effects to like, oh, look at all the cool lighting, and then putting it out there for $60. But of course, along the way, making sure that the character models now look ugly AF. This is the reality we live in. Horizon Zero Dawn getting a remaster, no additional gameplay, just a straight up remaster, and honestly, it doesn't look as good as the original. Are there some areas where the visuals look more clear? Sure, here and there, but overall the game looks exactly the same and the original looks way better. And you can't even own the original anymore on Steam. You can't buy it anymore. Usually that's a $19 game. Now they're selling it for $50, I think it is. $50 for the remaster. And it's like, what the heck? And then they delisted it. They just delisted it on Steam, but you know what's really cool? They still had it up on GOG. They still had up Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition on GOG. And what did I do? I was like, man, I've already bought so many games recently. This sucks. What should I do? I'm just gonna buy it. And that's what I did. Because I never played Horizon Zero Dawn. So I spent $50 on it. I bought it before they could delist it. And now I have it in my GOG library, the complete edition, and I can download it. I can download that file, and it belongs to me. I can download the installer, and they can't take it away from me. I have the original Dead Space. It looks incredible. And this is really where we're headed. Because guys, gamers will just walk away. They'll go back to playing classic games, original games from the 90s, indies games, and they will leave all of this garbage behind. They will make their own games. All they're doing right now is just delaying the inevitable because people are walking away. They don't want woke. They don't want this garbage that we're being spoon-fed. They said, if you don't like it, don't buy it. That's exactly what people are doing right now. And guys, if you're enjoying the content, check out the Angry Guy Clubhouse. YouTube has been reducing or eliminating ad revenue on many of my videos. If you want to help keep the content free and support my work, please consider becoming a paid subscriber in the Angry Guy Clubhouse. Inside, you get top tier expat and passport bro travel tips, digital nomad guides, passive income strategies, pop culture and geek culture commentary, and hard-hitting manosphere content. Free subscribers have access to videos, podcasts, articles, and the community chat. Plus, receive the passive income blueprint and digital nomad blueprint just for joining. Paid subscribers unlock even more value. Exclusive guides like the How to Build an Online Business in 24-hour ebook, wealth building blueprints, and crypto updates. Join us today by clicking the link in the description and take your journey to the next level.
I hated that statement that the director of subscriptions made, that gamers should get used to not owning their games. I get that it's his job to try to sell you on subscription services where you do not own your game, but companies should not be prioritizing subscription services. It's like Game Pass. I do think that it's really good for casual gamers who don't want to constantly be spending $70 on multiple games every month. Like, that is not the reality that a lot of people live. It's just not something a lot of people can do. So I think that it's great to have a subscription like a Game Pass where you can play a lot of different titles. But on the flip side, I do not think that that should be the priority for these companies. They should be worried about putting a product in your hand that you actually own. And it's so sad because this just isn't the case really anymore. These companies make you log into services in order to access a game. They make you, kind of jump through hoops, and you don't even really own the game. It's like how on a disc, most of the time, the full game is not actually on it. Just a couple of days ago, we heard Black Myth Wukong being absolutely praised because the physical version for the Xbox is actually going to have the entire game on the disc. You do not need to download any sort of updates, which is insane. We barely hear about that happening nowadays. So, him torching Ubisoft really hits home for me because it's what a lot of people have been thinking for a very long time. And there are a lot of developers out there who are afraid to speak up because they don't want to be blacklisted. They do not want to face issues within the industry. They basically want a clean track record. So, if they, move on from a company like Larian, they'll be able to find a job somewhere else easily. And we know that a lot of these companies do skim social media accounts and they'll find every little thing that they can to use against you.
You know what's interesting though? While companies will skim social media to use every little thing against you, you know what companies are using against prospective applicants now? You know what they're using against them? Have you ever worked for Sweet Baby Inc? Have you ever worked for Hit? Have you ever worked for any of these companies that are ruining the gaming industry? Are you a person that gamers don't like and don't want to have anything to do with? Because if you are, we don't want to work with you. We don't want your name associated with our product. Look at Sweet Baby Inc. right now, guys. They've had to scrub their website clean because gamers have made it very clear that if they see their name, if they see Sweet Baby Inc., they are going to start to boycott these products. They literally censored Sonic the Hedgehog. The gaming collapse, the crisis is only beginning as gamers say, forget it. I predict that GOG's popularity is only going to grow rapidly as more gamers realize that they own nothing. They own nothing on Steam. If Nintendo, from what I hear, they're saying that it's possible Nintendo may soon roll out a plan where you can buy your cartridge, you can still buy physical games, but those physical games will be locked to the account that they are registered on. So, for example, you buy Mario Kart 9, whatever the heck it's called, or 10. I think it might be called 10 or something different. And Mario Kart's big money for them. So not only do they not want you emulating their games even if you own them, no, they don't want you being able to sell your games either or sell them unless they authorize the sale. Hence, but they don't want you selling them, period. So, your game, once you buy it from the store, you have to activate it to an account. And then once you activate it to an account, to your Nintendo Online account, you can play it across all your other consoles. If you get a Nintendo Switch Lite and you have a Nintendo Switch 2 and you get a Nintendo Switch Lite 2, you can play it on your Nintendo Switch Lite 2 because it's on the same account, but you can never resell it to anyone else. The reality now becomes that you no longer actually even own the game. You own a license on a disc. Some people will say, well, it's always been like that. You have always owned your game. Not only have you always owned the game, you've always had the right to make a backup of the game. At least in the United States, that's how our copyright laws work. They don't even want you to be able to resell your games anymore. They want to strip away any value of that game after you purchase it. and then control it. What this could even spell is that over time, they can even decide that, well, this game is no longer going to work. We no longer support this game. You'll have to purchase a new one later on. So the cartridge itself won't even be worth anything because you need a Nintendo Switch Online account to activate the game and to use the game on a regular basis. And 10 years from now, game no longer works. Nintendo Switch 3 comes along. Game no longer works. You're in an airplane. You want to play your game. No connection to Nintendo Switch Online. Oh, Nintendo... Because when you have your games downloaded, when you have physical games on your Nintendo Switch, one of the unfortunate things that does happen sometimes is that you'll get a message saying that checking to see if we're checking to see if you can play this game. And if you don't have a connection, and this does happen, I believe, even with your primary account, Nintendo will tell you, sorry, you can't play this game. That's one of the big drawbacks of digital games. And if you have a physical game and you're in a place where there's no internet connection, they can still tell you, sorry, you can't play this game. This is the sick reality. You will own nothing and be happy. You will not question us. We are your masters. You will obey to some gaming company, to DEI, to Sweet Baby Inc. Oh my. Oh my.
To not hire you if they do not like you. And of course, while his torching of Ubisoft is true, and his observation that Ubisoft Plus was likely not seeing the numbers of players necessary to float the Lost Crown, the fact that it would release on Steam would not necessarily make it a market success. Yeah, I don't think that it would make it a giant market success, but I do definitely think that a lot of people, again, do not want to have to go to a certain service or go and buy a certain subscription in order to play a game. They basically want to be able to load up their platform of choice and find it there. That is another issue with exclusive games. While, yes, it does end up being good for the developers on the development side because they're getting a lot of money before release in order to finish their game and polish it up, for consumers, it makes it harder to buy a game. If you don't own a PlayStation 5, but you want to play one single game on it, you're most likely just going to wait and maybe even never play it if it doesn't release on other platforms. This is a major issue, of course, that I have also talked about many times on this channel. And the game hit a peak concurrent of just 1,446 players when it finally released to Steam. And yeah,
one of the things that I think is really surprising that companies have not started doing yet is giving gamers licenses that allow them to play their games across multiple platforms. I think that it's absolute BS what they're doing. For example, if I purchase a copy of your game on, GOG or on PlayStation or wherever, I should be able to play it across multiple platforms. If I want to play it on my Xbox, I should be able to play it on my Xbox. I should not have to go and purchase the Xbox version of the game. Oh, but the console manufacturers need to make money too. Well, if they want to make money, they need to offer something that the other person does not offer. They need to offer exclusives for your game or an experience, something that draws me over there. So if I purchase, let's say, a fighting game, and I want to play that, I purchased it on PlayStation 5, and I don't have a PlayStation 5, and I have no interest in picking one up because I'm so firmly PC right now. But if I purchase a PlayStation 5, and let's say, you know what, I think that the Xbox multiplayer is better, the experience is better with Xbox multiplayer, I should be able to just jump over to the Xbox and play my game that I purchased on PlayStation 5, on Xbox, or on PC. Now, to be fair, Microsoft evidently is doing something along the lines of this with some of their titles, I believe, where it's cross-platform, cross-play. So if you purchase this game from Microsoft, you also get a version of it on PC, and you can jump between the two. And I think that provides so much amazing value for consumers, and that's something I would like to see companies do more and more. I totally get, fine, if you don't want to give us a PlayStation, if you don't want to or you're not able to give us the PlayStation, the Xbox version if you have the PS5 version and vice versa, or the Nintendo Switch version if you have a PlayStation 5 or Xbox version, okay? But we should always get the PC version. We should automatically get the PC version if we purchase it on another platform. That is a 100% must. Okay? Or if there has to be a small fee, okay, but maybe on that, but honestly, it should be free. I shouldn't have to keep on buying the same game over and over and over just to enjoy it on the platform of my choice. If I want to play it on my PlayStation, truth be told, I should be able to play it on PlayStation. If I want to play it on my PC, I should be able to play it on my PC. These are just machines that allow you to access your video games, access your software. But being told where you're allowed to play your games, that's total BS. That goes against our copyright system. Something that Nintendo does not respect whatsoever, and they have continuously violated. And the reason why they get away with it is because they're so big, they have so much money that the average consumer cannot stand up to them or fight them. Eventually, people are going to start to fight back. You will have nothing. You will be a bum. You will be in the streets, and you will enjoy it. Okay? How about, well, if buying isn't owning, pirating isn't stealing. People will just become bandits. And I'm telling you guys, we need to stop focusing all our energy on attacking feminism. Feminism isn't to blame. The concept of feminism is just egalitarianism. The suffragettes themselves were not practicing true feminism. And who gained so much? Who gained the most from this in terms of men? Sims. Guys, think about what Sims gained. Think about everything Sims gained from feminism, from women's liberation. It basically turned the average woman into a 304. It gave the average simp the ability to get into a relationship and get easy access to physical intimacy. I'm not saying again that the simp usually would not be able to get. Sure, this guy is a simp. Sure, he's giving things to her that she doesn't deserve. He wouldn't be with her in the first place. These are losers. Look at the INCLs, guys. They're out here crying that no woman wants them. Why would anyone want you? Think about this. What do you have to offer? Relationships are transactional. There was one of the first of these jokers named Elliot R. I'm not going to say his full name, but you guys know the idiot went and did some stupid stuff and then basically got deleted. I forget if he deleted himself or he got deleted. And the thing about it is that he was a good-looking kid. Joe Rogan even talked about him. He said that he was a cutie. But this kid's personality was garbage. For example, like people used to invite him to parties. His roommates used to try to invite him out, and he was just a nasty person to them. And he basically deleted all of his roommates, or almost all of his roommates. And they tried to be there for him and include him. He went to a party, like a frat house, and there was a party there, and there were people sitting on a balcony. And he tried to push them all off the balcony, but he screwed up, and they pushed him off instead. And he basically fell and like broke his ankle and then limped away. Like, this was a horrible person. He called himself like the supreme gentleman, and he was like, "Why do women like these men, these guys, and these black boys? Because when I'm so wonderful." Like, this is the way that he talked. He talked. He didn't seem to understand. He had a horrible personality. And bro was he was actually mixed race. He was like half white, half, I don't know, Asian, like Japanese or one of those, or Chinese. I forget what he was. I don't want my Yumi screeching at me because I know she's kind of funny with that. She's not a fan of certain groups, of certain individuals, but it's just telling. It is just telling because this was a nasty person. He drove a very nice car that his parents paid for. His father, at one point, was struggling financially and couldn't make his child support payments, and the mother turned him on him. And his son, he basically reached out to his son. He was like, "Listen, son, I don't have money to survive right now." They got like divorced or separated, and he basically told Elliot, like, "Dude, I don't have the money to survive right now. I care about you, but I can't survive right now." And this dude was he just started going in on him. No wonder his father couldn't stand him by the end. And I'm not blaming it. His mother, there was obviously something with his mother and his relationship with his mother, because his mother definitely poisoned him. And they even said that, like, after he passed away, it was like his parents cared more about the people who passed than him. He had a bad personality. He was not someone that anyone wanted to be in a relationship with. He was not someone who wanted to work hard in life. He had a relatively comfortable life. He had a nice car. He had everything pretty much handed to him. He could have gone out there, got a job, and made extra money and spent that on whatever he wanted to. He could have used that money and had a girlfriend, but he was a nasty person. He didn't want to work on social skills. He was not interested in being friends with anyone. He was just all he wanted, and he believed that he was supposed to be a celebrity and a movie star because his father had been in the film industry, and he believed that he should have been famous. These people are so narcissistic. All he wanted was money and Kitty. That's it. And he thought that he deserved all of this without having to work for any of it. He was a total loser. And that's what many of the INCLs are. They are losers. They're just another form of simp. They're fat, they're lazy, they're stupid. They don't want to put in the hard work. They don't want to do anything. They cry that no one loves me, no one likes me, no one wants me. But, bro, how can anyone even, like, you're like lashing out at a lot of women and you're not even trying to even get into a relationship. And don't get me wrong, right now, I don't think any man should be jumping into a relationship in Western society. But we're talking about back then, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, before things were this brutal. All right? Even 20 years ago, these men were not trying at all. And this is their response. They're just another form of simp. There's a bunch of sick individuals. Like I said, they are to blame for so many of our problems. The Sims are evil creatures. They're nasty little critters. They have the Jezebel spirit within them.
It's just it's really not a good look right now, especially in a time where this company is struggling so much. I just don't think that this game really caught on with audiences, and we've been waiting years and years for Sands of Time. I think that will do good when it finally launches, if it is a high quality product, because people love the Prince of Persia titles, but this one just really didn't click with gamers. And at the end of the day, that's something Ubisoft's going to have to accept, the fact that they are releasing product after product, which should be successes, but they're failures because they're just not the content that gamers actually want right now. Gamers will show up in droves to purchase games and purchase products if you give them something to be excited for, and that's just not the case with Prince of Persia. And nevertheless, of course, he is actually no stranger to criticizing Ubisoft. He actually did criticize the Star Wars Outlaws Ultimate Edition. I don't love the artificiality of pricing structures post-retail, use the inflated base price to upsell a subscription, and use vague content promises to inflate Ultimate Editions to make the base price look better. It all seems a bit dangerous and disconnected from the community. He is an absolute winner.
You know what's really interesting though? Right now, a lot of women are turning on the Sims. For example, you have people like Bad Baby, that 18-year-old thottie who basically went on OnlyFools after she turned 18. She's a cash me outside girl, and she made like $50 million over the course of roughly a year on that platform. When all of these guys who were following on her on Instagram before her, 1/8 birthday, then went and subscribed to her immediately. She made like $1 million instantly, like within like the first 24 hours. She made like her first million. So all those guys were like just waiting. Like those were a bunch of creeps. And now she's saying, after she made her money, after she's made over $50 million, she's saying that all of those guys need to be put in jail. And it's like, bro, you did this. You put yourself there and you made all of that money. And now you're crying because you feel ashamed and you feel nasty and you feel dirty. And I think she's still on that platform. But don't worry, because eventually, because she said that she has more money than she can ever spend, which is the exact same thing that happened with Black China, who claims that she only made $2 million, around $2 million off OnlyFools. Black China has like 50 million subscribers. Women who do not have anywhere close to Black China's base, anywhere close, are make way more. And they were saying that Black China made around $200 million on OnlyFools, and Black China's like, oh, it's more like 2 million. She's a liar. She's a total liar. And where did she do? Where did she go? She went back to the church and got baptized. Because what did I tell you? I told you the streets lead to the church. OnlyFools leads to the OnlyFools leads to the church. OnlyFools leads to the streets. The streets leads to the church. The streets leads to OnlyFools. It's a vicious cycle. The streets lead to the church. The church leads to the streets. So stay off the streets and stay out of the church. OnlyFools leads to the streets. The streets leads to OnlyFools. The OnlyFools leads to the church. It's all cycle. It's the same crap. It's the same crap. That's why you have to be consciously aware. So these women are now going to start blaming the simps, and the simps are dirty because they just basically scurry off like cockroaches into every hole, every crack in the ground, waiting to strike again. These are individuals that have the Jezebel spirit within them. They are not human beings. They don't even like humanity. These people hate humanity. They don't like humanity. They don't like you. They don't like me. They want the world to come to an end. All they care about is getting money and kitty. These are creeps. They are the source of all of our pain and suffering. Women are powerless in this world without men. Nothing can happen unless men allow it to happen. Look at the Bible. Look at what God said. Everything that exists right now is because some man made it. The laptop, everything we have is because some man made it. Everything around us, the streets, everything that we have operating, everything that is here today, it's only here because some man made it and some man continues to maintain it. Women are powerless without us. What occurred is that they traded us for the state, so now they are agents of the state, but they are under the direct authority of the state. So the state still treats such as property. So we have an occurrence where they end up being treated as property of the state. We end up being treated as prisoners of the state. Neither are free. The difference is that they get special privileges while we get special punishments.
In my books, I mean, this is somebody who gets it, who is in tune with what gamers want, probably because he himself is actually a real gamer. I know that's also kind of rare within the industry. It seems that there's so many people within it that just do not play video games or do not look past the game that they are making, but he clearly sees what gamers want and how we are feeling. I think a game should be priced accordingly with its quality, breadth, and depth. I'm not against higher prices, but this arbitrary uniformity just doesn't make sense to me. It feels so unserious. I totally and completely agree. I am fine with paying a high price for a game that gives you a lot of content. A lot of people do love Baldur's Gate 3, and I know a lot of people would pay a lot of money for that game. A lot of people love Elden Ring, like myself. I would pay a lot of money for Elden Ring. There's plenty of games out there that I do think deserve high price tags, but it's like, I play a lot of games on this channel and I review a lot of games on this channel, and I always talk about the price and whether it was worth it or not. And like 90% of the time, I say games are not worth their price tag. They are not worth $60 or $70. Most of the time, they're worth like $30 to $40. And if games were priced judging by the length and the quality, if like Star Wars Outlaws was priced at $40, it would have sold 3 million copies. And as far as we know, it's only sold 1 million copies. If you make something cheaper, yes, you are losing out on the individual price tag that's higher, but you are making more money overall because you're getting potentially millions of more customers. So this is somebody who completely understands what we have been criticizing within the industry, and especially at a company like Ubisoft.
Gamers are tired of the nonsense. Men in general are tired of the nonsense. We're tired of every space we create being invaded. We've been pushed out of society, and this is being done systematically by people who absolutely hates us, okay? And this is the reason why it's all crashing down, and it's only going to make way for a brand new industry of indies led by indie games and South Korean and Asian developers. You're seeing what's happening with games like Black Myth Wukong, and there are more on the way. You're seeing what's happening with games like Stellar Blade from South Korea. There are more on the way. All right? This is what's going on right now. More of these games are on the way. You have games like No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is available on GOG, and I absolutely love it. Baldur's Gate 3 is available on GOG, guys. We are heading towards an industry crash. A lot of these people are going to be shocked, especially when money is no longer available the way it is right now. A lot of these Sims just don't care. But when money is not flowing the way it is, and consumers are now more price conscious than ever, they're not going to be spending all of this money for things that they don't own. You're going to see people rushing over to GOG, buying their games on GOG, even sending them over to friends and so forth. It doesn't matter. And this is what's going to happen. If it's not on GOG, I'm not going to buy it. And at some point, Steam will probably mess up. They've already been messing up. And they're going to pull some big game off there. Like, for example, some game like an Assassin's Creed game or some huge title is going to get pulled from Steam because of the developer over some licensing issue or something that someone spent tons of money on. And it's going to create a massive uproar. Like, what? I spent $70 on this game, and I've spent all of this money on for like DLC and stuff, and the publisher of the game has now pulled it from the service, and all of the money I've wasted on it is gone. And I owned absolutely nothing, and then you're gonna have Kotaku and IGN and all the rest of the media like, well, you knew right off the bat, and The Sims, you already knew that you didn't own it on there. It's just a license, okay? Be grateful for the time that you had with it and move on. Let's not talk about this anymore. You see, guys, The Sims want to maintain the status quo. The Sims, Chad, Tyrone, these people are all the same. They all have the Jezebel spirit within them, the liberated woman, the Jezebel spirit within them. Okay? These are people who despise humanity, despise men, and want us and despise humanity. They will never change. If you want to go and try to save a simp, be my guest, but don't come around me. Because a simp will bring you down and they will wreck you mentally. And they're nasty, nasty, disgusting little weasels. You cannot trust them. I used to have a friend named Cassie. She was in this space. She ended up leaving. I really miss Cassie. And she made content discussing this kind of stuff. But it's dangerous when you put your face online. These people, like, they're trying to come after me. But I'll tell you right now, if they want me, they can have me when they've earned me. Like the Sims are out here threatening me right now, saying that, who are you? You know, you're kind of sus. We need to know who you are and how and how much you lift and all this crap. You know, face reveal, show yourself. So what? So, you know what? Well, I'm holding up my mailing address, my mailbox. We like do a face reveal at my mailbox while holding up my W-2. Come on. If they want me, they can earn me. All right, they can have me once they've earned me. They're going to have to work for it. Work for it. And the thing is, these guys are lazy. They're a bunch of lazy good-for-nothings. Because if they weren't so lazy, if a lot of them weren't so lazy, they wouldn't be Sims. Many of them are lazy, fat, stupid. If they weren't lazy, fat, and stupid, they would not be doing what they're doing. Don't get me wrong. There are a ton of Sims who go to the gym. There are a ton of Sims who work out. There are a ton of Sims who have money. But a lot of them will eventually end up poor. A lot of them will eventually end up fat. A lot of them are extremely stupid. Just because they have a degree in engineering doesn't mean that they're smart. Just because they have a degree in medicine doesn't make them smart. A lot of the medical doctors are learning their lessons now because they know that these predators are out there looking for them to take advantage of them. So they're staying home playing video games and building figurines. And that's another thing, guys. If men start focusing on doing things like building figurines, all right, women will come after that too. But the good thing is that you have other cultures. You have South Korea, you have China, and they don't tolerate this type of garbage there. They won't tolerate this type of garbage in China. So we're getting great games from China. We're getting great games from South Korea. We're getting great games from indie developers. Nintendo can go to hell. If I'm not going to own anything, they can go to hell. They can keep their Mario. They can find it. They can and let their audience that panders to them do this. Let the ponies keep on wasting tons of money on things like PlayStation 5 Pro. I don't give a damn. I just won't buy it. You don't want my money, so you won't get it. I'll do exactly what I'm doing now, buying classic games. I just cleared off. this year, through hard work, over $20,000 in debt, $20,000 in credit card debt. I cleared it all off, all of it. You know why? Because I see the writing on the wall. We are headed for a very hard time. So for me, it's about getting everything in order, making sure my debt is all paid, making sure I have no debt, get rid of all of that debt. It doesn't even make sense going overseas at this point because things are going crazy. The world is so crazy right now. Dudes are getting deleted. It's important to have a passport so that you can always leave. But at this point, I'm just looking to get into homesteading, getting myself a nice ranch, a farm, growing some things if I can. I don't want to be a big time farmer. I would love to have a greenhouse. My Yumi is basically living my dream. She basically stole the life I she should say stole. She worked hard to cultivate the life that I wanted, you know? I wanted to go into medicine, but I just never ended up doing that. And she ended up doing it. She's a crazy gamer. She's a crazy anime fan. You guys have no idea how much she loves anime. And she also does a lot of homesteading, and that's really, really cool. She does a lot of homesteading. She has her ranch. She has animals on her ranch, on her property. She has a nice bunch of acres. She lives a good life. Her husband is a total badass. Dude's not playing around. Military, has his crew, security company, and she won at the game of life, but she had to work hard for it and to stay off the streets. These modern women, they can no longer peer bond. They cannot peer bond with a man because they've been in the streets for too long. And most men today are like, yeah, we're not going to get into this. The only man that would even mess with these women are simps, and they don't want those men. And those men won't last very long. Especially when we look at the hell on earth that's coming right now. Come on. Come on. Simps are so responsible for so much of the pain and suffering we are going through, and they must be held accountable for it. Don't let these devils get away. Don't let them get away. They need to be held accountable. They have the Jezebel spirit within them, and it's because of them why we're suffering like this. It's because of them why society has collapsed. When the suffragettes were originally creating havoc in society, they got thrown in prison. The men of that time said no. The only reason why they were able to do what they did is because of the simps who felt sorry for them and were like, let's give them the right to vote. Not equal, not egalitarianism where, okay, well, they need to register for the military too. They need to be held to the same standards as men. No, we need to give them special privileges. We don't want them to suffer. When they didn't like these same women feeling empowered were like, okay, well, we were able to get the rights to vote, so now we're gonna go for more. Now we want even more than that. So it's like, well, what do you want from us? We want to shut down. What do you call it? We want to shut down bars because we don't like men drinking in bars, but drinking makes men violent. Okay, so they shut down the bars and they get the bars closed down. And then, there's no more, now there's all kinds of illegal drinking and men are still going out. But now when they want to hang out casually, they just go and meet at the coffee shops and women get pissed off and they're like, we need to shut down the coffee shops too. They started protesting coffee shops because they didn't want men gathering. They don't want any male spaces. They don't want any spaces where large numbers that are predominantly male. They want to keep men separated. They want to keep men silent. All right. They want to keep men demoralized. That's how these people operate. We are dealing with people who do not like us and would rather we were not here, that we did not exist. These are evil entities from the Blue Lagoon, the deepest of the deepest. They are sick people. They are twisted people. They are narcissistic people. They are not good. So you have to be consciously aware of this, and you cannot allow it to control you, and you cannot allow them to control you. You have to stand up and say no. Instead of worrying about becoming a millionaire or a billionaire and being like Kim Kardashian or any of these other wealthy idiots out there who are miserable, It's about building something for yourself. It's about building a life worth living. It's about finding, guys, I love to learn. I love mechanical engineering. I love mechanical engineering. I'm, like I'm not a simp, but I love mechanic. Like if I was about to say, if like I'm gonna simp for anything, it's gonna be mechanical engineering. If I'm gonna simp for anything, it's gonna be for physics. You know, you should not be simping, but I'm just saying. Like if I'm gonna gush over anything, if I'm gonna have high regards and high respect for anyone, it's gonna be for people like Nikola Tesla. It's going to be like the founder of Nvidia, who, or people like Elon Musk, who created like, reusable rockets, or the first real AI based GPUs. Okay. I'm more interested to learn, for example, how modern technology works. Like many of you probably don't even know what the architecture of modern GPUs look like. If I use the word chiplets, you probably don't even know what chiplets are. You probably don't even understand how they relate to CPUs, modern CPUs. They're basically, chiplets allow modern CPUs to be modular, meaning they're constructed of multiple smaller processors that create a larger processor. It's a pretty cool technology. I'm interested in these kinds of things. As are most men. Most men are into tech. Not all, but many. They're into survival or things where they're learning and building and growing. But we've been conditioned to focus on women and money and resources, to bring resources to women so that we get access to small amounts of kitty. No. Everything is crashing. We can already see that come 2030, half of all women will be childless and single. The gaming industry is collapsing. The movie industry, TV industry is collapsing. It's all collapsing, and it's going to lead to something new because they cannot operate without the consumer. And they've been telling the consumer, if you don't like it, don't buy it. I have another video coming for you guys, which is very interesting because there's some major developments happening with Star Wars right now, which is absolutely insane. When I told you that Disney does not actually give a damn about the woke audience, they're just doing this for money and virtue signaling, I meant it. Because evidently, spoiler alert, the person who played Rey in the Star Wars movie, Rey is basically out, and they're transitioning to something else and someone else. Like it's basically on hold right now. Yeah, the next series of Star Wars films start, the centering around liberation and so forth, and starring like strong, empowered women. Suddenly, they're taking a step back and rethinking that one. They're seeing the success of Deadpool and pretty much all the money that they have right now. All the money that Disney has right now coming in for this year. It's not coming from Disney Plus. It's coming from Deadpool. Deadpool. What does that say? Guys, it's all crashing down, and it's only going to lead to the rise of something brand new. Because where there is opportunity and necessity, that leads to new innovations and new opportunities for everyone. What do you guys think regarding all of this? It's all crashing down. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, and walking away. And cheers.